So you're live, Chris, if you want to.
Hi everyone, welcome to Meet Them Mondays. We are live on Facebook. We're about to go live in the studio on joltradio.org. Tune in now or catch the show after on roamfreerights.com.
Alright, then off we go.
Go to try again. What is it?
Let's see.
Oh, here we go. You can see it. So.
I already shared it publicly.
Okay, share it. Okay, there you go. We can all see each other now.
Alright.
I shared it already, Cafe.
Did you do the public?
I push share now. Okay, there you go. We can all see each other now. I shared it already.
Alright, we're doing this. This world we live in,
I push share now.
and we happen to find ourselves alive.
I already did.
It's full of activity. There's things going on all the time. Now that we have greater access to seeing them happen in front of us, it gets confusing and sometimes painful. But in the end, love sets it all free. Less love. It's the only answer. From the soul, y'all.
Greetings world, welcome to Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla, and today we have the incredible women from the Ladies Empowerment and Action Program, also known as LEAP. The Ladies Empowerment and Action Program is the first of its kind and the only entrepreneurship training program dedicated to preparing incarcerated women to re-enter their communities and be financially independent. LEAP pairs inmates with mentors, equips them with the skills and training to gain employment as they exit prison. They also provide them with the educational programs and knowledge to create small businesses. The goal of the program is to provide participants with the tools and support to sustain themselves by gaining jobs and the ability to create their own economic opportunities. In the studio, we have Gemma M. Garcia, Vice President and co-founder of LEAP. Gemma has been involved since the organization was founded in 2009. She has also volunteered at Camilla's House, Soup Kitchens, and Creative Beginnings, a nonprofit organization that helps homeless women. Welcome, Gemma.
Thank you.
We also have Sivana Roncal. She began volunteering at LEAP in 2009. She worked at different financial institutions and is currently a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. Her nonprofit experience began by raising funds for St. Jude through triathlons, and she has also served as a mentor at LEAP. Welcome, Silvana.
Thank you, Christian.
And we have Rebecca Brown, also known as Cafe. She is a graduate of the LEAP program. Hey, Cafe. And she is currently employed at Camilla's House as a cook. She is very active in the community, doing volunteer work, church ministry, and will soon be preaching in Dade County jails. She is a member of 100 Women Plus Who Care and holds certificates from MDC, Barry University, and Jack's Baptist Theology Seminary. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So, Gemma, I guess we'll start with you. Let's talk about LEAP and what was going on when the program was founded. What led you and your partners to start a program like this?
Well, the three of us, the three co-founders, we did together a prison retreat in Homestead Correctional Institution. And the three of us share the same passion, which was to really help women to better themselves in order to make it easier for them to incorporate into society and not have to return to prison.
Okay.
And that's how the idea started. And in May of 2009, we incorporated LEAP.
And I remember when we first met, you had told me a story. I believe you were doing some mentorship, and I think it was you were with an inmate, and well, you can tell me more about the story, but one thing that I remember was that you kind of told me about being victims of our circumstances. Do you remember that story?
Yes, I did many of those prison retreats. One of them I happened to do with my daughter, And while the retreat was taking place, one of the participants in the retreat said to us, "Can I talk to you both at the end of the retreat?" And we said, "Sure." And she came over to us and she said to my daughter, "I wish I had a mom like yours. I was turned into prostitution by my mother at 11 years old." And she said to my daughter, "You have no idea what you have. Cherish your mom." And what touched my heart was the fact that what determines what kind of families we're born in. I was very blessed to be born into a terrific family, but not every person is.
Yeah.
And as a result, many of these women are victims of the circumstances that they're born in, for which they have no say.
Absolutely. And on your site, leadforladies.org, there's some facts that you pulled up here. I believe there might be like an average, but I just wanted to state some facts. $18,604 on average. This number might vary with new statistics coming out, but it's the cost per year on average to house a Florida state prisoner. 1 out of every 4 released from a Florida prison will return within 3 years. 3 to 4% less return for every education level they gain, and 14% less return for inmates with a vocational certificate at release. So that's just some statistics for our listeners out there. You also told me that women especially, when they're removed from their families, there's also like this generational trauma that goes down to the other members of the family. What are some examples that you've seen happen to families when the mom is removed?
Well, statistics show that children from mothers that are incarcerated are more likely to return to go to prison than children that grow up in a family. So you have that. You also have children that are split. Some go with grandma, others go with aunts. So you have a total dysfunctional family once the mother is incarcerated. Plus, you also have the issue of education, especially once they hit high school. You know, who's guiding those children? Who's going to make sure that they're going to school? Who's going to be looking after what they're doing after, even if they're going to school, what are they doing after hours?
Yeah.
So people don't realize that a woman that is incarcerated is not only herself, but is affecting the entire family and what happens to that family during the time that that mother is incarcerated.
Right. And so let's talk about LEAP and the program. Can you take me or walk me through the lesson plans and what are women learning while they're in there? How does the program work exactly?
We run 2 programs a year, and the program is 8 months duration, so at some point they overlap. We recruit at the prison in Homestead, but we also recruit at the prison in Ocala, which is the largest women's prison in the state of Florida. If they're recruited in Ocala, they're transported to Homestead. We start the program with a lot of life skills. We have a cognitive behavior curriculum, which is called Thinking for Change, and it was designed specifically for offenders. And we then start introducing the entrepreneurship portion of the program and the employability portion of the program. With the entrepreneurship portion of the program, we have a partnership with Barry University. A professor from Barry University comes to the prison and teaches the curriculum the same way that they do in the university. Once the ladies are done with that, they will walk away with the business plan in hand. So I always say to the ladies that participate in the program that the most important word in our name is empowerment. Because when you are empowered, there's nothing that you cannot do. And most, if not most, a good majority of these women have never been told, you can do it, you're good, you're valuable. So for them to be able to put together a business plan on a micro enterprise and to receive a certificate from Barry University is an incredible achievement. Many of them have never graduated from anything, have
Wow.
never completed anything.
Wow.
So can you imagine having that at hand, how empowering that is?
Absolutely. And you mentioned the word recruit. So how does the recruitment work exactly?
We have an extensive application process, and then an interview face to face, and then that's how they select it. And we don't look at their crime, we don't look at their education. The most important thing that we look at is, are they first of all taking ownership of what they have done, and are they prepared to make changes?
Right. And so how do the inmates learn about the program while they are incarcerated?
We have a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Corrections,
Okay.
and we select a period of time that they are going to be released, and they're required, if they are within that window of release dates, they are required to attend our orientation. We give a general orientation of what the program is about.
Upon selection.
No, that's the very first thing of the selection process.
Okay.
So, for example, CALA, we can have 300 inmates come to the orientation. Once they hear about the program, we ask whoever is interested
Okay.
to stay behind, fill out an application, and then we will do an interview.
Okay. And just to confirm, you said earlier, it doesn't matter what crime the ladies are in there for? Is it open to all?
It
women
is
in the-
open to all. They have to be within approximately 12 months from release date,
Okay.
because we want them close to release date so that everything that they have learned, they can put to use once they're released.
Okay. And does age matter or immigration status?
Immigration status does matter, because if they have a hold, it means that immigration is going to be waiting for them once they're released.
Okay.
But even with that, we will look at a case-by-case basis.
Okay. And the
Age does not matter. No.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And you said that 8 months out of the sentence is the period that the women are being in the program, correct? Do you think that that's enough time for women to go through this psychological, like these lessons that they're learning to change their state of mind to be more empowered and positive? Or do you wish the program was longer? How does the 8 months or the time period be selected?
It's the beginning, but the second part of our program is after release.
Okay.
After release, we continue to work with them for a period of up to a year, where case manager is in constant contact with them, following up, connecting them to resources. We, before their release, we always, if they don't have a place to go, we always find housing for them. We currently have a partnership with the Center for Social Change. They have a house where some of our leaders can go to. So it continues. 8 months is the beginning,
Okay.
but it needs to continue. It needs to continue, especially women that have addiction issues. They need to continue to work on issues that they have.
Absolutely. And tell me more about the house. How does the house work?
The house, as I said, we have a partnership with the Center for Social Change. They can house 8 ladies, and they are interviewed before going to the house to see if it's a good fit.
Sure.
And
Right, because they're all living there together.
correct,
Okay.
correct. The house is in a great location, so it's close to transportation. So there are many good things about the house. And that is a big problem in Miami-Dade County. There are very few halfway houses for women coming out of prison.
And what have you seen with this problem? What have you seen the city try to do to change that, or is that something that they're interested? What has been your feedback or what you see doing this kind of work?
Unfortunately, not much has been done to date, which is a problem. There's many more halfway houses for men than there are for women. But as of now, we haven't seen much done about it, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
I think society as a whole needs to really start changing their attitude and their mindset about returning citizens. It really bothers me when people say, "Oh, they belong there, and that's their problem," and they don't realize that as taxpayers, we're paying for it. Also, they're coming back to our communities.
Right.
So why not make better citizens out of them? Why not help them to incorporate into society, as opposed to labeling them by not wanting to give them jobs, by not wanting to rent them houses, by not accepting them?
Yeah.
So I also see, and we definitely believe that that's part also of what we need to be doing. We need to be educating this community and teaching them to help returning citizens, as opposed to turning their back against them.
Absolutely. And we'll get back into that because you mentioned something about the cost. But I want to turn this over to Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Cafe. Also known as Cafe. What have you, as a returning citizen, kind of going off of what Hema was saying, what can you talk about this experience as a returning citizen and what that was like for you?
Well, I think I was a little bit favored in that category because I went to Camilla's house and Leap had arranged it for me. I was the first person to go there, and there's been several since, and it's been a good experience, a good connection with them, and that's where I work. So it worked out. I had a job. If I hadn't been in the LEAP program, none of that would have happened. I would have probably been sleeping on a family member's couch, trying to go on interviews and being discouraged because I am an ex-offender, and a lot of people are looking for jobs and they can't find jobs, and they don't even have a record. So you get frustrated and you get discouraged. And so, it's okay to make your family dinner when they come home from work, but pretty soon they want you off their couch, So
Right.
it would have been a whole different story. I probably would have been overwhelmed and just had low self-esteem. But with LEAP, I had such a support system, and everything was just amazing for me. It was just almost like a storybook opening up when I got out of prison. And it was a little overwhelming, but I had my mentor there, and she guided me through it. She took me down to register for the police. We didn't even know where it was. What if I didn't have a car? What if I didn't have a bus pass? Which I didn't. I had somebody to physically take me there. And then I had to go register at probation. I did a year of probation. And we didn't know anything about that, where that was. Could you imagine trying to get around on buses and figure all this out in a city? Because I'm from Fort Lauderdale. So I didn't know anything about this area, And so it's a whole different, I can't imagine not having LEAP and getting out. I would definitely not be where I am now. I would be shunned by society. I wouldn't have the connections that I have. I wouldn't be doing this radio program right now. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's just, we really need to get the message out there that we've served our time, and they say, oh, you do the crime, you do the time. We've done our time. Now we're ready to re-enter back into society, and we want to go out and make an honest living. We want to go out and not have a handout. We want to get a job. We want a place to live. Those are the two hardest things that there are to get when you're getting out of prison. Nobody wants to hire you. Nobody wants to give you an apartment. You have to sublet. You have to find somebody to share a room with. Now, if you were answering an ad and you said, tell me about yourself, and I said, well, I just got out of prison, you'd be like, oh, click. You wouldn't want to hear about that. So society. It goes back, like Emma said, the society needs to open up and have an open mind and open hearts and give us a chance, because we're just like everybody else. Some people say, well, we've all done crimes, but not all of us have been caught, you know? And so that there's little cliches, but they have meaning. There's a lot of substance behind those cliches. There's truth there. And we really desire to do the right thing, and we desire to be productive and you know, show people, hey, I'm doing it, you know. And that's where LEAP comes in. These ladies here and the other ladies, they call you and they're like, how you doing today? And you know, you can tell them, you can vent to them and say, hey, like my mentor, you know, we would go on bike rides and on the weekend, and that helped out a lot, you know, like a sister to talk to. And just the whole support system is amazing, and it just really helps you to achieve your goals, and it's accountability.
Absolutely, that is true.
Yes, and it's so important. All the factors that play a part, they may seem minuscule, but they're all like pieces to the puzzle that make you a successful person coming back out into society. And it's just it's beautiful.
I'm so glad to hear that you're on this positive road.
Thank you.
If you're just tuning in to Jolt Radio, you are listening to Meet Them Mondays. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla, and in the studio we have LEAP, the Ladies Empowerment and Action Program. You were just hearing from Rebecca Brown, also known as Cafe. And you know, I wanted to know about when you were doing your time, how did you find out about LEAP? How did you hear the program?
Well, do you mind if I tell you why I was incarcerated?
No, please go
ahead.
Okay.
I as a child, I grew up in a middle-income family, like a lot of people. Both my parents worked. My dad would a lot of times come home drunk, and the whole family was on pins and needles because we knew what was going to happen. He was going to come home, expect his dinner to be hot at any given hour or moment, and he would physically and verbally abuse my mother. And it was difficult. I was probably 3 years old when it started. We'd get whisked away in the middle of the night and taken to somebody else's house to keep from that happening, you know. So that happened a lot. And so my crime that I did was they were domestic violence related charges. And it stemmed from, I found out after the LEAP program that I was looking for a mate that had the characteristics of my father, and I didn't know that. So I kept getting in these relationships where I was being physically and verbally abused, and I was like, why is this happening to me? I'm not a bad person. And you know, I would come home and I would drink every day to try to, you know, wash away my problems, and it wasn't working. And I would break up with somebody, and then I would get with somebody else, and then I would find that would happen again. So I went from being a victim to an aggressor, and I just snapped one time. I was like, that's it, you know. And so I did 4.5 years in the prison. I went to the prison in Ocala, and I was bettering myself. I said, I want more for my life. This is not me, you know, and I am a good person. So I started going to all the classes I could. I took substance abuse classes. I went into the Christian program while in jail, and I started getting deeper into my faith, and that really got me grounded and settled in my heart and in my mind and everything. So it got me focused. And so I heard about LEAP because and at the prison, when you get to prison, the people hear about everything. You know, they hear about things that are going on in the free world, as we call it. And then inside, so there's a lot of rumor, a lot of talk about this great program, entrepreneurship. And I had been thinking of a business before when I was in jail. I'm like, it's hard to get a job. I need to try to make my own way and get a business. So I already had things going in my mind. And I heard about LEAP, and I was real excited. So I told my counselor, I said, please, when it's time for me to be, when it's my time in a year, will you please let me know when LEAP is going to be interviewing, because I really want to join this program. So she put it in the computer, and I went through the interviews like Emma was saying. It was kind of tough interviewing. They asked a lot of difficult questions, and I didn't think I was going to get selected, and I kept praying, please, let me be selected, and I did, and I got to go to Homestead, and it's really pretty there, because in Ocala there's not any trees, not any plants, just grass and fences, and Homestead has like a beautiful setting with gardens and palm trees and ponds, and that alone was a blessing. It really, your atmosphere really, you know, makes you just feel better about your day waking up, so it makes you achieve, you know, strive to do better things instead of the humdrum of everyday life in prison.
And seeing the same walls and no
Yes,
color to it all.
right.
And it seems like the mentorship program and having a mentor was really a big factor in you staying on this path.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to direct this now to Silvana, who's been a mentor and who has mentored other women and also serves as a board member on LEAP. Silvana, how has that experience been like for you? And you were saying something about how it does more for you as a mentor.
Yes, it completely changes you in the sense that if you had any judgmental inclinations or anything like it, you go in and you come out a complete different person. Funny how we start trying just, you know, trying to help someone, maybe because we have free time, maybe because we're just interested in seeing what prison is all about, whatever the intentions are. I think what you come out of is with such a rich experience, because in trying to help someone, you have learned so much and you've helped yourself. You know, him and I were talking about it the other day, and I said, I have to tell you that LEAP is makes me feel like I'm whole. There's a balance in my life now, and we dedicate, you know, this is another thing that's important about LEAP is we're a very hard-working board, and I think the passion that we have is because we started as mentors, because we were brought into this program by the role that we took on, and so, you know, it doesn't take much to be a mentor. It's just being a human being, trying to help someone. That's all you need to do. You don't need any set of skills. You just need to care, and care if you have children, care if you're a grandmother, care if you're part of a community, that you have to go in there and try and make a better future for everyone. And so these are extraordinary women.
And what was your experience like?
I was very lucky. I remember going into jail, and we had not been assigned our mentees, and so we were thrown into this room where all of them were expectingly all looking at us, thinking the same. You know, who's going to be my mentor? And one of them caught my attention because she was so lively and beautiful. And lo and behold, that's who I had assigned to me. And I just sat there, and I couldn't open my mouth because she was so eloquent, and she was so eager and so prepared, and she had written all her questions and all her answers. And I was like, I wasn't prepared. I was just looking at her saying, oh my God, this is completely different from what I expected. And again, you know, anything you ever think of when you think you're going into prison to meet someone. And I remember when we finished the session, the mentoring session, which lasted about 2 months, I believe, she said something to me that it didn't occur to me. She says, you know, I want to thank you because you never asked me why I'm here. And I didn't realize I had never asked her. And I said, you want to tell me? Because I'm afraid. You want to tell me now? And it's just that you get so caught up. And to this day, she's a very good friend. Her children are amazing. She went out, and even though they had, the whole group had suggested that maybe she shouldn't go back to where she was coming from, because there's this fear that they may go back to whatever it was that they're limping from. She says, I can't. I need to see my children. I have 2 young children, and I'm going back. And she fought in court with her ex-husband to keep the children. And I said, how can you do that? You have a record. And she goes, because I am right. And she was, I'm telling you, I was so lucky to get this lady. To this day, we keep in touch. The children do their Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts things, and you know, I visited her many times. I rented a van once because she had just moved and she didn't have furniture, and I just asked for school supplies in my office, and someone says, "Listen, I'm moving houses. I have furniture and I have everything." And I said, "Okay." And then I said, "How do I transport this?" I rented a van, carry all the furniture, and showed up. And she was like, she couldn't believe it. It was cool. It was what a reward. I mean,
What
it's a
way
wonderful.
to have a tribe.
Oh, this is great.
Right?
This is great. This
That's
is great.
wonderful.
It's a wonderful experience.
We're gonna go ahead and take a break. You're listening to Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. We'll be right back. We're still live on Facebook, but we're gonna take a little break to listen to this song. How are you all feeling? How's it going?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay. We have 30 minutes. It's 7:30 now. So I think what we're gonna do is in the next half of the show, we'll get into more about how people can join the program, how much does it cost, how much does it take to volunteer, like the questions that people, for the people that want to join, for the people, how can they, because people are interested, you know, they want to be a part of the program. How can you help? Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, is everybody feeling okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I just got, sorry, I took so much of what she was saying. I got a little bit
No,
emotional.
you're all doing great. This is I know it's like not the easiest story to tell, but I'm so grateful to all of you for your
I think
honesty.
it's also important
Mm-hmm.
that you ask her about the business that she started,
Yes. We will.
because that's, I think
And the
it's
fact that
important
she's
for
part
you
of the board, I think that's also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into that. Okay. Actually, the next question is, what type of businesses have you seen the graduates go on and create? So we'll talk about the cafe and we'll talk about your business.
I looked at some logos. Why don't we just? And I was thinking like a dove with like a key, holding a key and
You have to
flying.
be careful because if there's soaps, remember dove has a dog.
Yeah, or a bird.
Okay.
A bird with a key, like a jail key, like it's a passive bird.
Ah, cool. That's cool.
And so I took some photos of some things I was looking yesterday. And you know, I was looking at like, see like this, or like see like any of these. This victory one is pretty cool, but I think that's
I've seen that. It's recognizable with Harley
Yeah, I think
Davidson.
it's- yeah.
Be careful, yeah.
and but that's what I'm pulling out on. This is the freedom bird.
Freedom bird.
Yeah. Something like
Oh,
that
that's cool.
would be kind
That's
of
very,
nice.
that's cool. You want Albert to help you with that?
Who?
Albert.
Sure.
He'll probably help you with the logo.
Liberty Soaps and something that has to do with, you know.
Right, freedom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had the Statue of Liberty head and the actually a torch is the symbol of liberty. So maybe a torch.
You know, but I was like under the spell of this man, and to this day, sometimes when I leave my house, I check what I'm wearing because like people call me from work and they'll be like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to take a day."
This is so the song.
You know, he policed my life, and I just thought, you know, no, that's love. You know, like he was protecting me and he really cares about me. Until that day that he like wrapped me by the neck, and I was just like, okay, I'm done with this guy. So finally, I'm done. I'm over. It's over. I'm not with this man anymore. The spell is broken, and I get a call from him 3 days after I officially break up with him, and he's like, "If you don't come back, if you don't take me back, I'm going to put your naked photos online, and your career's gonna be over." And I was like, whoa, like I don't know what else to do, and I was really scared, so I called my mom. Just call my mom. Like what you have to do when you're scared, and for us we're lucky, you know.
That's right. We always call our moms.
And I told her, yeah, like he's threatening to put naked photos of me online, and I don't know what they are, what they look like I don't know what's happening. I'm really scared.
The song
crying, and my
continues.
mom's like,
I didn't know that was. I mean, I knew that was in there, but I didn't know. So I went out on my left. Is that right?
You're cool,
Hello,
bro.
Brian.
Okay.
This is
Okay,
the mom of Little
That's how it's
Pimienta.
recorded here.
Yes, she told me that you are going to put the naked picture on the internet. Yes, can you please put the picture on the internet right now because I don't want to work anymore.
Every time that I have a show, I try to pick a song
I don't want
that
to
goes
work
along
anymore.
with the theme of the song. And I found out about this artist who's Colombian, like me. And she's very outspoken in like her feminist in her theories or like her.
So this is part of the song?
This is part of the song. It's like a little skit in the song. Yeah. Like she's acting because we play the songs from videos. So in this next part of the song, she's singing to a man saying like, I wasn't born to cook for you. I wasn't born to serve just you. I'm my own person. So it's like a story of what it is.
Put the pictures right now.
Cause she's hot. Yeah. We're all like, I was
You'll be surprised.
it's coming back now.
You'll be surprised with everything.
You're listening to Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. We were just listening to La Capacidad by Lido Pimienta. And we were just speaking to Silvana Roncal. I wanted to tie in the idea of the mentorship and just kind of quickly ask you, realistically, if the listeners out there want to be a part of the program, how much time do they really have to devote to a mentorship program if they want to mentor one of the ladies?
What I'll tell you what you need to do. They don't have internet in prison, so in order for them to develop a business plan, they need support from outside. So they will, through LEAP, communicate what information they require to complete their business plan that they would otherwise need to find via the web. And I will seek that for them. We have basically 3 to 4 weeks to gather the information sent, and they will have some other requests. So I don't think it takes more than probably a couple of hours a week, or less, to be honest with you.
Okay, good to know.
And then also, but I just
Yeah.
want to add, and then there are also prison visits.
Okay.
That's
They
important.
they will go to the prison. We are actually, this is perfect timing because right now we are recruiting
Okay.
for the next class, which starts in January. We are recruiting mentors right now, and the mentors will start coming in sometime in February or March because they don't come in right away
Okay.
after we start a class. They will come for prison visits about 4 or 5 times, and they will have ample of notice as to the dates that we're going to be going to the prison.
How often do they go to prison?
We're right now we're revamping the whole program, so it's probably going to be every 6 to 7 weeks,
Okay.
and it's going to be between 3 to 4 prison visits.
And if
And they'll have to be there by 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're usually out by 10:30.
And how do these, for the listeners out there or people that are interested, do you have to be a woman to
Yes.
be able to go in? Okay.
Yes.
And
You have to be a woman to be a mentor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how do these people get in touch with you to be able, if they're interested in becoming mentors?
The person in charge of the mentorship program at the moment is our board president, Yvette Bravo,
Okay.
and her email is yvette@leapforladies.com.
Okay.
Or-
Very easy to
org.
remember. I'm
Dot
sorry,
org.
.org. Sorry.
Thank you, Silvana. And the website is www.leapforladies.org. That has all of the information
Yes.
as well.
Mhm.
And so bringing it back to some of the business models that have been created, Cafe, I want to ask you, what have you seen some of these businesses that are being created, and what is the business that you created?
Well, I was in class 11, and I think it's the best class, of course. And we have Tarshay Sanderson, who has a cleaning queendom, and she has her own cleaning business. And she just did a cleaning for, I think it was Hot 105, one of the people there. So
Oh,
she's getting
cool.
some good clients, and they really loved her. She did that one yesterday. And then we have Christy Sierra, who was in class 11, and she sells jewelry. She's a entrepreneur for her own premier jewelry company. And we have a girl that just got out, Crystal Gibbons. She's our newest release, pretty much, and she's making baskets, and she's working at the thrift store too. So she's getting all the skills that's required now, to get started and just to get back into society. So
And what's your business?
mine is going to be Liberty Soaps, and the money's going to go. It's a nonprofit, and the money's going to go back to Leap.
Okay.
So it's another way of me giving back. I don't want to make any money off it. I want it all to go to Leap and support all the funds that need to be paid.
Beautiful. And now that you brought up the thrift, since we have to get there,
Yeah.
let's talk about the thrift, the Dragonfly boutique thrift store that's opening. Who wants to tell me all about that? Who's the most excited for that opening?
We're all
We're all
excited.
Okay.
I'll tell you the address.
Yes, tell
It's
me the address.
3141 Southwest 8th Street.
Okay.
And it's going to be December 13th at 6 o'clock. It's going to start. It's going to be really amazing. Our president, Yvette Bravo, her partner, Richard Vanderberg, he's in a jazz quartet, and they're really amazing people.
This is the grand opening.
Yes, and they're gonna be playing, and we're gonna have an MC, and we're gonna be catered, and my soap's gonna be there, and the baskets are gonna be there from Crystal, and the jewelry from Christy, and I think that a lot of the graduates are gonna be speaking. So when the listeners will be more interested, of course, after hearing this, and so they'll want to come down and check it out. They'll be able to hear from more graduates other than myself.
Beautiful. And
Yes.
they'll be able to meet you live and in person. And tell me about the boutique, the thrift boutique, Dragonfly. Hema, how did it, well, from what I understand, you're taking donations from the community to be able to sell. And you said good donations. And then also employing some of the Leap ladies in the thrift store, right?
Absolutely. Our executive director, Malia Lindquist, has done an incredible job in putting this whole project together, starting with a grant that we received from the Miami Foundation to take on this project. And we are so excited because the thrift store is going to serve so many purposes. It's going to hopefully make a lot of money so that it can fund part of the program, but it can also, it's going to be used as a training ground for graduates coming out of prison. The fact that they're going to be able to jump into a temporary job with us so that they can start
You get
and
those skills.
get the skills so that then they can move on forward with either their business or other employment. So it really, it's, we're so excited. We are taking donations. We're going to be focusing on women's clothing, shoes, purses, and furniture. We want to make it a very specialty thrift. We think the location is absolutely great. because we are on A Street.
La calle 8.
La calle 8.
La calle ya sé.
What more can you ask for? We're a few blocks from Miami-Dade College, and there's parking in the facility.
That's always important.
We
here,
have
man.
great storefront, all windows. There's a lot of visibility into the
And
thrift
how
store.
many ladies do you think you'll be employing with the new thrift store?
I believe we're going to be employing between 2 to 3.
Okay.
We are working. We're also very blessed that we have a partnership with Transition Inc. They are a nonprofit who focuses on finding employment for ex-offenders, and they are the one that present the employability curriculum in our program, and they are also working with us in employment for these women. So I think 2 to 3 will be the ones that we're going to be employing. Mm-hmm.
And how does LEAP find funding? How do you stay afloat with these projects and with Big Sigh?
That is a challenge every single day. As I said, we were very, very fortunate with the efforts that Malia put into getting this grant to be able to do the thrift store. Otherwise, we would have never been able to do it. And we try to raise money privately from foundations and from individuals, and also applying to grants and doing fundraisers as much as we can. As a nonprofit, as a grassroots nonprofit, it is a yearly effort to try to get this program afloat. And as Silvana said, I mean, our board is a working board, totally volunteering, and we really put a lot of work and effort because we believe in the mission, but it's not enough. I mean,
every dollar we get, we give to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
And
How
that's
can
what's
peop-
important when you have a working board.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
How can the listeners and the people who are interested in donate to LEAP?
The easiest way is to go to our website, leapforladies.org. There's a donate button on the first page. You can just press it, and you can go through PayPal or credit card, or you can mail us a check. The address is also on the website. But also, I'm going to pass it on to Silvana because we have a big event. That's our yearly fundraiser that she is working on. So I'll let her.
So remind me again the grand opening for the boutique. What's the date for that?
December 13th.
Okay, December 13th is the opening
at
for the boutique.
6 p.m.
At 6 p.m. in La Calle 8, and I'll be sure to link that on roamfreerates.com.
Come, we're gonna have music and food, and it's gonna be a great fun.
Okay, and tell me about the bazaar happening.
Yes,
in December as well.
it's 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
It's Saturday the 2nd. It will be December 2nd. It will be running from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to have hourly raffles. We're going to have children activities. We have invited local private and public schools, high schools, to play musical holiday music. We have 20 vendors. We have a great selection. Items are from $5 to $5,000. We have corporate gifts. We have family gifts. We have home decorations for the holidays. It's been a great selection. We just finished getting all the vendors together, so we're very excited. We need your participation, so please come by with your shopping list and make our cause extend its life, because we do great things, and as I said, we don't take everything goes to the cause. So this event we're very excited about, and we are basically now working on gathering all the donations for the raffles, and just basically closing up soon and getting this activity going.
And so it's a community event to raise funds for
It
LEAP.
is.
Yes, the vendors are going to be donating 25% of the sales proceeds, and the location is 2103 Coral Way. Parking is 2 blocks away at a church parking.
One block.
1 block away. True, 1 block away.
For all those people in Miami.
And
that
what's
don't
the
like to
what's the
walk.
name of the church?
A Lady of Lebanon has, the courtesy of the church, they let us use their parking lot for this event. It's on a Saturday, so plenty of parking. It's a huge parking lot.
Parking is not an issue. Again, the address is 2103 Coral Way, 5th floor.
Correct.
Beautiful. And I want to talk about the theme of having a tribe and creating a sense of community within the women itself. And I'm curious to know about the partnerships that may have come out of LEAP. What have you seen the ladies collaborate on? How do you see maybe sisterhood or bonds be formed from this event? Maybe Cafe, you can talk about that, what you've seen on your account, or what that experience has been like for you.
Well, I think mainly I see that at the house where they're living, and they're great camaraderie. And the Tarshay's birthday's coming up, and they had a pre-birthday party for her. Who has that? Leap girls do. Leap women. So yeah, it's just, and then they get. Sometimes we just meet up. We had a beach party last summer, and that was a lot of fun. We met in Hollywood so that it would be like close for everybody, not too far. That was a good event. We all barbecued and grilled out and got together, and one of the girls from your first class, right, showed up. And it was neat meeting
Tolliver.
Yeah, meeting somebody from the first class, and she had her whole family, and it was you're right, it felt like a tribe, you know. It felt like we already knew them. There was already a elite bond there. And that's what it's about. You know, you've all gone through the same things. You've gone through the same hardship of prison, and you've gone through the same transformation, like in the cocoon of LEAP, and then you become a butterfly when you're out, and it's just like it's the same experience. So yeah, you just already love them without even knowing them.
That's such a great metaphor. Did you want to add to that, Silvana?
No, I think Cafe is such an eloquent representative. It is, it's great. It's great. We have a group of ladies. They keep in touch. You know, we try to support them. But at the end of the day, you know, we all have something that we get out of it, which is a great reward of being able to support each other. And I think that's what it is at the end.
But I think also for the ladies, the fact that they are accomplishing is so rewarding for them to show us, hey, you know,
look what I'm doing.
Look what I'm doing.
And
Look what I'm doing. And it's important to know that the program works. Our recidivism is only 6%. That means that 94% of the women do not go back to prison.
That's amazing. Did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I wanted to say that it's also like most of us who have been in prison have kind of burned our bridges with our family. You know, you borrowed money, you've let them down so much that we have to show them now. Now it's okay, I love you, but I want to see the change. And that's what LEAP gives us the opportunity to do. So once they see that we're doing well, then they welcome us back, and it's like with open arms, you know, when before it was like closed
Your
wallets.
family, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
our family, yes,
Right.
our family. And it's such, you wouldn't imagine how nice it is to have them just invite you and want to be around you more. So that's a blessing too, and LEAP has created that.
And you said something about class 11. Hema, how many classes have there been, and about how many women per class?
We're currently in class 15. We're going to be recruiting class 16. Average class size fluctuates between 12 and 18. That's the average.
Okay. And earlier we were talking about mentors and how this is a time of recruitment for these mentors. Is there a certain personality trait or something that you have to have, or is this very open to the community for anyone that's willing and has the time to come in?
We all reach out into the community, to our friends, to the friends of the friends, to family members, to anyone that is willing to take their time and give us, you know, those few hours a month that we need to improve the life of someone. So you don't really need we just basically tap into wherever we can to gather. You don't have to have any prerequisite. Again, as I mentioned earlier, just caring, willing to give a little bit of your time, but we do need mentors constantly.
There is a training mentor that we hold before.
Of course, yeah.
Workshop. Where we explain the rules of the prison. They have to be cleared in order to go into the prison. And we also explain what the mentorship program is about and what the role of the mentor, correct, what the role of the mentor is. So it's not like we're going to, you're going to volunteer and you're going to go straight to the prison.
No.
It doesn't work that way. We will do some training and then you'll be going into the prison.
And I remember you had told me before that if people of the community want to go and see some of the graduations happening or some of the programs, you bring people in to experience that. How does that work? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes. Our next graduation is going to take place sometime in March.
Okay.
We invite whoever wants to come to our graduation, members of the community. We've had politicians. We've had, obviously, all the board members most of the time are there in the graduation. We just like to open it up because the graduation is such a special occasion, and it really gives you a glimpse of what the program is about and what the final outcome of the program is all about. So it's a great way in a short period of time to get an idea of what we're all about.
Right. And how many ladies do you expect to be graduating by then?
This class we have 15.
Okay.
In this
15,
current class.
15
yes,
graduates.
class 15 with 15 ladies.
Okay, beautiful. And about the donations and how you were saying that money is something very essential to keep the program running. Are you looking for sponsorships from businesses, or are you looking for donations in terms of food or other things that the community can help with? If it's not financial, how else can the community
there are many
become
ways
involved?
There are many ways the community can get involved. For example, during this event, we could use
Which event?
The Christmas or the holiday event, or the holiday bazaar, or the grand opening of the thrift store, the Dragonfly. We could use sponsors to donate alcohol, wine, prosecco, champagne that will help us celebrate and entertain our guests. Food, as simple as that. As simple as if you have any skills that you'd like to share with our graduates, we will welcome for you to come to a prison and teach them. It could be a single class. It could be a lecture, a series of lectures. Help. We can use any kind of help. Tell us what you have, what you're willing to give, and 9 out of 10 we would use it. So anything you can think of. We have the thrift store. You can donate items. If you have money, obviously that will be the easiest one.
Money works everywhere.
But we use time. We could use someone to help us with social media throughout the year. We need people to help us with everything. So if you have some time and you're willing to do, as simple as administrative work, we can use that. Data entry, look into our base,
What about moving trucks?
Anything, delivery services, pickup truck.
Hygienic products, maybe, for the women. Any hygienic products for the women.
Absolutely. When they come out with $25. Is that the check that you come out with when you come out, or 50? Oh, I'm sorry, 50.
If you get it.
If you get it, you get a check for $50 from the state, and that's all you have. So obviously the thrift store, will be some of the recipient, but we will allocate to the inmates as well. But if they don't have any clothing, any gift cards that you don't use, that you have balances, anything that we can provide to these ladies when they come out that they could use, toiletries, as you mentioned.
And where's your office located?
Well, our offices are now at 2103 Coral Way, but we're going to be moving our offices to the thrift store.
Oh, beautiful.
We've created a space within the thrift store for our office. So everything will be there now. We also need volunteers for the thrift store.
Okay.
Because we have clothing that needs to be sorted out, things. Even though we will have employees, but we still need volunteers for the thrift store.
Okay, and I'll make
We
sure.
we would also love to have an accountant on our board. So if there is any accountant that is listening,
Get in touch with Leap for
we would,
Ladies.
yes, we really would love to have an accountant on our board of directors.
We've reached the end of our interview, but I do want to mention the website, www.leapforladies.org. All of the information is there and how people can stay in touch with the organization. Facebook is www.facebook.com/leapforladies. Twitter is Leap for Ladies, and Instagram the same thing. I'll also be posting this interview to roamfreerights.com after. And I want to thank you all so much for being here in the studio, for talking about Leap. This is so important for all of our community. And thank you for tuning in to Meet Them Mondays on Jolt Radio. We'll be back December 11th and 18th for more episodes. Thank you, ladies.
Thank
Thank you,
Kristen.
Kristen.
Thank
This is
you.
great. Thanks.
Wow.
You put so much. I get so into the interviews, and then you're like, oh my god. But either way, I'll be linking all of the events on the website, on my website, roamfreerights.com after. And
We're still live.
yeah, we're still live.
Do you guys want to say goodbye or?
Yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
tuning in.
Thank you.
This is Gemma. This is Rebecca, also
Thank
known
you.
as Cafe. This is Silvana, so you can put a face to the name. I'm your host, Cristian Portilla, Room Free Rights, and thank you so much for tuning in to Meet Them Mondays on Joe Radio. Till next time.
Thank